It began not with words but with wounds in the skin, a stroke of chalk on a lover's arm, a carve of knife on a calabash's curve, a symbol etched in secrecy that would bind a people closer than chains, speak truths sharper than spears. Nigeria's southeast, cradle of rivers and riddles where the Cross River coils like a serpent guarding secrets. Here, in the humid heart of the Ejagham lands, humanity inscribed its first unspoken poems. Nsibidi, cruel letters they called it, from the echoid tongue, where Sibi whispers of bloodthirsty cunning. Not mere marks, but a language of the soul, born from dreams of water spirits, revealed to men in the hush of night. Long before alphabets chained sounds to pages, before scribes in distant valleys tallied grains on papyrus, Nsibidi stirred in the soil. Archaeologists unearth its whispers on Calabar's potsherds, dating to 600 CE or earlier. Concentric circles like eyes of ancestors, arcs bending like bows drawn taut. One of Africa's oldest inventions, this semasiographic script, a mosaic of ideograms and pictograms, sprang from the Ejagham, the Ikoi people of the northern Cross River, their world a tangle of forests and floods. Traditions sing of its genesis, mermaids, those half-fish enchantresses of the deep gifting glyphs to dreamers in the mid-first millennium, symbols of agility and guile, Nsibidi in the old tongue. From sacred groves, it flowed to women's nim societies, where initiates in fatting houses and kim chambers of seclusion and splendor learned to paint bodies with white kaolin, arcs blooming on ebony skin like stars on midnight. By the 900s, Proto-Nsibidi adorned grave goods and shrine vessels at sites like Old Marion Road and Okang Mbang, lozenges interlocking like fates, grids channeling spirits. Not rigid runes, but fluid forms, over 1,000 signs, geometric ghosts, crosses, spirals, stars, mingling with naturalistic shades, leopards prowling, tortoises trudging wisdom's path. Enter the Ngbe, the leopard society, men's Mugbe of the Ejagham, fierce guardians of law and lore. Here, Nsibidi found its throne, sacred signs for the initiated, veiled from the unsworn, a cipher for counsel and command. Leopards embody it, strength in silence, guile in the glide. And so the Ekpe it became among the Efik, who claimed the script in the 18th century from Efuk neighbors, weaving it into their coastal clans. Ekpe ruled like shadow kings, legislative leopards, judicial fangs, executive claws, fining the faithless, crowning the cunning in the Aro Confederacy's web. Women too held keys. In north of River Ekpe, they carved effigy fans, pyrograving arcs for initiations, their Nkim schools scripting love's labyrinths on thighs and breasts. Nsibidi spoke in layers, public petals for all eyes, decorative dances on calabashes, welcoming a wanderer with a simple door glyph, and sacred thorns reserved for rites, warfare's warnings, the twist of a difficult judgment. In Enyong's Ikpe courts, Igbo whispers of justice, a single palm stem bore the tale, a tree's circle for the gathering. Enclosed staff for the chief twisting lines, summoning sages from afar, all climaxing in the crossed paths of adultery's shame. Daily, it danced. A headman sends Etak and Tanya Nsibidi's plantain cluster, to his farm boy, a plea for provisions carved swift. Lovers linked arcs, one bow for a soul alone, two entwined for union's embrace, separated for heartbreak's rift. Warriors wore it inked, a gun's outline for the hunt, a crossbow's curve for the clash, while healers hammered it on swords, invoking tortoise for longevity's slow stride. Over 500 signs, some say 1,000, compressed epics into elegance. A moon's crescent for night's mystery, an umbrella's dome for shelter's grace, Manila's chaining wealth's illusion. Nsibidi knew no borders but the sea's cruel bite. By the 18th century, it threaded the trans-Saharan whispers, but the Atlantic's maw swallowed deeper. Enslaved Ejagham and Efik carried it to Cuba's shores, birthing anaforuana in Abacua fraternities, leopard echoes in Havana's haze. In 1812, police seized José Antonio Aponte's manuscript, its ideographs plotting rebellion. 1839 saw Margarito Blanco's dockside declarations, Nsibidi's signatures sealing war cries against the whip. Back home, it spanned ethnic streams, from Ejagham north to Ibibio's Oron, Igbo's Bende, Ekois hugging the Cameroon line, a lingua franca of the veiled, uniting where tongues divided. Ukara cloths, indigo veils of power, gridded with grids of leopards and crocodiles, arcs and arrows, worn in processions, their secrets sold only to the sworn. Women's appliqué on mats, men's brass trays from late 19th Calabar, mermaids flanked by Nkanda calabashes, highest Ekpe rank, primordial ovals birthing rituals anew. In the 1850s, British consul T.J. Hutchinson gazed on Efik trader Antika Cobham's wools, extravagant beasts in diamonds and crescents, cruciforms crucifying the colonial gaze. Yet Nsibidi endured, pyrograved on wooden crests, body painted in funeral's fury, a bridge from forest shrines to coastal courts. Then came the ink of invasion. Europeans, eyes blind to the brilliance, branding it primitive secret writing. Missionary J.K. McGregor in 1909 Calabar pried transcripts from Ekpe hands. An Ikpi judgment unfurled. Court's tree, whispering informant, embracing victors, contempt's cloth. Hundreds of words in a handful of lines. Elphinstone Dayrell compiled corpora in 1910-1911, Ecom district informants yielding welcome waves, toilet soap suds, big drum thunders. Talbot tied it to Ikoi roots, but secrecy stymied. Sacred signs stayed shadowed, their logic lost to the uninitiated. Colonial boots trampled, schools supplanted and Kim with primers, Ekpe's gavel silenced by governors. Ukara looms quieted by Cotton's curse. By 1909's end, Nsibidi faded to fringes, tattoos taboo, cloths curios in Pitt River's vaults, brass trays bartered in British museum basements. Perceived as play, not power, a cruel curiosity, not a code commanding continents. They called it relic, but to the keepers, it was rebellion, lines lingering like blood in the vein. Dawn breaks anew in the 21st century, pixels resurrecting pottery's ghosts. From Black Panther's Wakanda, 2018's silver screen sorcery, where Nsibidi birthed a fictional script of sci-fi splendor, arcs armoring vibranium vaults, to sequels etching eternity. Nnedi Okorafor's Akata saga, From Witch to Woman, weaves Nsibidi into fantasy's fabric, juju glyphs guiding girl heroes through Nigerian nights. In 2025, Seun Badejo unleashes Agu display, a Google font's triumph, Nsibidi's curves reborn as dancing letters, rounded sans serif with substitution axes that twirl like initiates in trance. Born of 2019 Epiphany, this typeface, decorative, alive, invites coders and creators to script the sacred in code. Art awakens. Igbo mahogany doors in Aba fuse Christian crosses with Nsibidi leopards, carved confessions of faith's fusion. Nail salons in Lagos blend symbols with lacquer, intertwined arcs for love's latest vow. Tortoises trotting eternity on fingertips, fashion ferments, Designers dye indigo echoes into modern mantles, Nsibidi grids gracing galas from Abuja to Accra. September 2025, Anyanwu Reboot, a spectacle where Uli lines meet Nsibidi swirls in digital paintings, vibrant voids reclaiming the canvas. Pinterest boards brim with 2025 visions, 110 ideas of Uli and Nsibidi, from tattoos tracing thighs to murals mantling markets. Revival ripples, UNESCO nods to its roots. African Union charters, cultural coders, grassroots guardians, from Kazini networks to Ekpe echoes, digitize dreams. Drones map ecom monoliths, AI deciphers Darel's dust, apps arcs for the app-savvy young. No longer cruel letters confined to cults, Nsibidi strides into syllabi, reformed with rebus radicals, pictographic puzzles producing prose. In Cuba's Abacua, Vive variants pulse in Vodou veils. Haiti's shadows still shift with separated arcs of sorrow. Nigeria's southeast stirs, Ekpe processions pulse with pyrographed fans, women's weaves whisper warnings anew. Nsibidi teaches not sound slave, but ideas architect, compressing courts into curves, compressing cosmos into crosses. From 400 AD's first flickers to 2025's font files, it defies deletion, a script that scripted survival. In every arc, our ancestor's arm, in every grid, a society's spine. Nsibidi, not erased but eternal, its lines linking the living to the long gone. It began with a dream from the deep, and now it dreams again, unbound. If you enjoyed this journey and want to continue exploring the unfiltered truths of African history with me, please do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button. Also, click the notification bell so you won't miss our next adventure into the past. Thank you so much for your support. See you in the next video.